All else being equal, I honestly prefer nighttime videos. For some reason, the night feels just a little bit more comfortable for me than what I would feel during the daytime. It seems like there's a lot of hustle and bustle that occurs when the sun is shining. Not so much when it's like pretty dark to see. I do have a few lights on so that you can see me, of course. But anyway, what's on my mind for this video? Well, there was a lot of things on my mind over the past week, like things going on in around the globe. I don't know if there is any nation or any place that is not experiencing inflation going on in where the things that they were able to buy last year are costing them more to get this year, and the things that we can get now might not be readily available in the future. I mean, things like, I don't know, gasoline or milk, bread, you know, the clothes that are on your back. I mean, they're not exactly cheap these days unless you go and buy them secondhand. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good stuff that can be got for a fraction of what a brand new thing costs. And it feels just as good. But that's up to you. It depends on what your style is. But in addition to inflation, I'm also thinking about this um, tendency to try to get everybody driving electric cars. And if you have an electric car, hey, I'm grateful for you. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it gives you far more joy than someone who would be obligated to get one, because some places are like trying to get rid of vehicles that are run by gasoline or diesel. Why? Because of carbon emissions? That's what they want you to think. They want you to think that an electric car is more environmentally stable. Take it for what it's worth. Anyway, there's a place called California, which is located in the United States, who is going to outlaw cars that are run by gasoline or diesel by the year 2035. We're currently, as of this video, in the year 2022. So we're talking about maybe the span of 12, 13 years tops, or thereabouts. And you might think that 10 years is a long time. Well, I mean, if you're in prison, then yeah, 10 years is a pretty long time. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not as far off as one is likely to think. And then, of course, there's a thing called COVID, um, coronavirus disease. Very serious thing. It is deadly if you don't know how to handle it. I'll get more into that later. But I brought up these three items: inflation, the shifting from fossil fuels to electricity, COVID-19. They seemingly are unrelated. Are they? because there's a part of me that thinks that they are related, that they are orchestrated, that they're steering us who don't know any better in a direction that they want us to go. Maybe I'm hallucinating. Maybe I'm just talking out of my tuchus. But go figure it out and just see what conclusion you come up with. I don't know if there's time to really, you know, just pretend that everything is going to keep going as it's always gone. I mean, for one, if you haven't noticed, the sun's getting bigger, and what that means is that the Earth is getting closer to the sun. We're no longer 93 million miles away from it, and that means that the temperature is getting warmer. Some people say global warming is done by human efforts, but I'm not buying that for 1 second. I don't care how much we reduce carbon emissions. I mean, we might be able to prolong stuff at the rate we're going by maybe uh, one generation. What's a generation? I don't know, 20, 30, maybe 40 years. Go figure. So, what's my point into all this? First, my point is maybe it's time to stop being on autopilot and start considering what's in front of us. Whether it's some hostile coworker or an army that's entering our home turf from a different country, or the usual rhetoric in politics. There's nothing pretty about politics. But anyway, but that's beside the point. The point is that we can pretend that all this will sort itself out and we can do whatever we so wish. Or you can start thinking about what's going on and maybe prepare for what's coming up. Because the way I see it, the currency that you use to buy and sell things is starting to become, how you say, worthless. And it seems like the powers that be are trying to get us to go from a physical currency because it costs money to make a euro, to make a dollar, to make yen, to make a yuan, whatever currency you use to buy or sell. I mean, they're printing more of it, and therefore the actual piece of paper that it's on becomes less valuable than it was prior to printing the money. In the United States, they decided to print $1 trillion bills this year alone. Trillion new dollars is going to make the existing dollars, which were already of a limited value, even less. And that means that everything that you go to buy is going to cost you more. And it's going to require you to spend more of your currency in order to get that. So they're thinking that a digital currency is going to hold its value a little bit better because it doesn't require as much resources. It doesn't require the sacrifice of trees, of animals, of energy. And if you don't get with a digital currency, then you might find yourself without the ability to pay taxes. And if you can't pay taxes, then they'll take whatever you got: land, livestock, vehicles, whatever else you can find. And do I sound negative? No, not negative. Just in saying that you got to take a look around you and see what's out there. By the way, the thing with COVID, yes, it is a real disease, and if you're not careful, it could kill you. But it's not so much the disease itself, it's the fear of it that is being blown out of proportion by governments, by the medical field, by people who decide to wear a mask because they think it's the thing to do. You see me wearing a mask? It's fear that decides to limit what you can or cannot do. Don't let fear limit you. Sometimes you gotta look at fear and show it who its boss. And that's not an easy thing to do because, quite honestly, some of us are so um, petrified that we don't know how to act in those situations. We kind of lose our ability to think. But don't be afraid. Just look at it for what it is and act accordingly. Because keep if you can keep yourself relaxed, if you can keep yourself calm, then you can handle whatever comes at you, come hell or high water. And that's what I got to say for you on this video. Thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for checking out the channel, this channel, and maybe I'll see you on your channel or on the channel that we both go and view. Have a good one.